This is crazy. Look at this. It's almost like a spider. It's got a skull in it. Isn't that cool? It's kind of like a skull spider. I really can't recall a time I've ever seen Lego do something like that before. That's really cool. Huh. Hello everyone, and welcome to another TTV Monkie Kid set review. Today we're taking a look over set number 80028, The Bone Demon. The set contains approximately 1,375 pieces, releases summer of 2021, so I believe July 1st, and retails for approximately $120. So, this is super exciting. I wanted to start things off big. I know these were a little delayed, however, I wanted to do these proper justice. First of all, thank you so much to the LEGO company for sending these to us. So this is a sponsored video. They did send us these three, this one and two more, which we'll be reviewing shortly. So thank you very much for that. That being said, it's not going to affect my opinion on any of these. So don't believe it will. It's not going to. Without further ado, let's get into the review. So starting off, this is actually the largest of this kind of small wave, this kind of sort of Season 2 / bridge into Season 3 kind of a deal here. And this is definitely the largest one, and the one I think is going to get the most fanfare. So let's go ahead and get started, because there is a lot to discuss here. We'll start small. We have this kind of small spider contraption here, and it's fine. It's basically just a small spider. It has a handful of, actually just a couple glow-in-the-dark pieces, which are really cool. And it's nothing crazy to write home about. Moving up in the world, we have these two kind of, I'm going to call them skull spiders for lack of a better term. These are really cool. I really like the bone aesthetic here they've got going. They do have this kind of circular top half, so they're not traditional spiders. In fact, they're not really spiders at all. I just kind of instinctively look at them and think, oh, spider. Because LEGO usually have spiders with 6 legs instead of 8, and these match that. The articulation is really good. It's got really good posability because of the mixel joints that it utilizes, and I'm really happy to see these kind of claw pieces, traditionally seen in construction sets, back again in white in more prominence. We've had them once before in a LEGO set, but only 2 of them in one set, so now we're getting far more than that. Inside, they do carry some bones. Some of those are glow-in-the-dark pieces, and these round circular areas kind of below this cauldron, those are also glow-in-the-dark. Moving up in the world, we have this kind of gate thing. It looks like an entranceway. It has more prominence later on, or rather, what sits on top of the entranceway has more prominence later on. And it's very cool. It looks very aesthetically in keeping with the kind of bone aesthetic that's going on. The back has a little more to be desired. There isn't quite as much bone decorating that's happening on the back, but it's not quite as necessary because the front is imposing enough. You're not really going to want to turn it around. It also has some glow-in-the-dark pieces on this head ornament thing we're going to get to in a little bit, as well as these curved pieces off to the sides. So that's really nifty, and we'll show off that function in a moment. Moving up even further, we have this giant construction here. Now, if you follow the Monkie Kid TV show, you're going to know what some of this stuff is. This is more of a new addition to the show. Kind of in the center here, we have what appears to be kind of a coffin. And this does have prevalence in the show. If you open it up, there is a sticker in there, and that is kind of a show-relevant thing. I mean, the whole thing it does appear in the show, and it's very neat how it's integrated. But it's cool to kind of see this in physical form. You take that out, and you do have placements for kind of knives, glow-in-the-dark bone if you don't want to have that in there. This has a lot of functionality in and of itself, and it's going to integrate more in the near future. You can kind of bring these side panels up. We're going to be doing that later, but they do kind of come up and down. We do get these neat kind of rocky pieces in white. I don't know if they came out in any other sets in white, but it's neat to see them here. Up top, we do have this kind of foil, and I'm not super fond of how the foil is integrated in this set in a couple of different ways. Here, it kind of awkwardly sits where it does. I'm not jazzed about that. Color scheme-wise, this is really striking. It's purple, white, black, and kind of highlights of light transparent blue and red. It's a really good color scheme. and they do a really good job with the color layering in all of this. In addition to that, we do have some more glow-in-the-dark pieces. Again, we'll get to those in a moment. I'm going to sidetrack briefly from moving up in the world to talking about some of the smaller stuff. We do have some kind of penultimate builds. We have this cloud. This is meant to be something that the Monkie Kid mech that we're going to talk about in just a moment rides on. It can be modified as well. If you take these two wing pieces, you can stick them on the sides and kind of make this more of a tech cloud, I suppose. It looks more like it's supposed to be maze than it is anything else. So that's kind of neat. I like that kind of multi-character use that it has. That's kind of refreshing to see. And you can use the wings elsewhere. Speaking of the mech, we have it right here. This is a mech design that's very in keeping with some of the mechs we've been seeing, actually for a while now. First with Nexo Knights, and more recently with LEGO Marvel Superheroes. They have had some mechs. And so if you've had any of those, it's about what you'd expect. Standard points of articulation, 3 in the legs, roughly 3 in the arms. Something I noticed that I had an issue with this one, and I've gotten a handful of the mechs, but the joints on this one were really loose, which didn't make any sense to me, given that usually these joints are really good. They're usually pretty stable, but on this mech specifically, it's not. Color scheme wise, it's really solid. It's got red, Keat orange, yellow, as well as highlights of turquoise, which I thought was an interesting decision, but not what I'm complaining about, given that Monkie Kid in here has teal headphones. So that works out just fine. The mech is a neat design. I think it really captures that monkey look, and the designers did a really good job adapting this template to this theme. So I'm really jazzed about that. The Monkie Kid staff, the Monkey King staff, we have a large version of it, and it fits very well in the mech itself. So I'm actually quite satisfied with it. The only actual issue I would really have are with the loose joints, and I'm not jazzed about the giant hands. Those aren't something that I'm crazy about. Finally, the magnum opus, the big deal of this set before you smash everything together. It's a giant skeleton scorpion. And we've had skeleton scorpions in LEGO before. Heck, we've had plenty of scorpions, most certainly. This one is fantastic. It's got a really striking color scheme, the same aforementioned white, red, black, and purple. We do have a lot of glow-in-the-dark features on the Scorpion as well, which is really great to see. The legs, only the front 2 move. The other 2 are static, which I'm not crazy about. However, I get it. You can't make all of them move all the time, especially with how this is constructed. However, it's really cool. It's a really menacing-looking Scorpion. The arms especially, they have that bone motif, and they have these rotating claws. Not traditional scorpion claws, but they're still really cool to look at. They've got a lot of this kind of bony, mystical look to them that you wouldn't expect out of a normal scorpion, which really elevates the appearance of this in a direction that I wouldn't have necessarily thought of. Something I'm not too jazzed about with this scorpion, however, would actually be the forearms. I'm not crazy about how the detail work has been done here. It just feels a little, I don't know, rushed in a way. It's like, quick, let's put some spikes on it to make it a little more menacing. And I feel like it kind of breaks up the overall aesthetic, which is mostly cohesive and clean. But that's a very minor thing. It's not anything to complain too much about. The tail up here is also really neat. It's got these kind of 2 pincers, so it's not a traditional stinger either, but I don't mind that because it's not a normal scorpion. It's an otherworldly scorpion, and I'm pretty happy about that, honestly. Finally, some minifigures. We do get a nice assortment of minifigures. We do get the Lady Bone Demon minifigure. We get 2 of her goons. We get Monkie Kid, and we have May. May has a lot of accessories here. We do have the dragon sword. I believe that's what it's called. I don't quite recall. We have some form of firearm that May uses. I'm not super familiar with this personally. We have her helmet. We have a jetpack assembly, which the wings from the cloud can go on. And that's really about it for May. But there's a lot of stuff here which you can add on to her, subtract. There's a lot of interaction here, and I really do appreciate that. For Monkie Kid, we have 2 things for him. We have one Monkey King staff, kind of normal sized, and another which is kind of larger because the staff can shapeshift, it can change size. So all in all, it looks like we have 3 different sizes for the Monkie Kid staff. And at this point, I'm just waiting for them to release a set where the set is just this giant, spherical, rounded red block. And it's just the Monkey King staff, just massively enlarged. I could see that happening, and I think it'd be kind of funny. One last thing worth mentioning before we get into the final construction are these swords. These swords are important. They are nothing too crazy in design, but they are effective. I don't dislike them by any stretch. I'm not massively crazy about them either. They are swords. I'm happy to see that blade piece is still in use. Okay, so some of you may be watching this going, wow, there are a lot of things here. And on the box, there's only really one big thing. What's the deal? Well, let me show you. This is a fascinating set for a variety of reasons, but let's get into the main appeal. I'll try and explain this process as quickly as I can, but if you're not super jazzed about watching it, feel free to skip to this time kind of listed right here, and you'll be all good to go. So let's get started. First, we're going to partially disassemble this scorpion. We're going to go ahead and take his hands off. We're going to take his tail. We're going to move the pincers backwards. We're going to lift it up and click it into these 2 mixel joints back there. Then we're going to spin that around. Moving over to this large assembly, this kind of temple almost, we're going to go ahead and take the coffin. We're going to stick that in there. We're going to move this kind of rib cage construction up. We're also going to move these 2 rib cage pieces down over the shoulders, just like so. Up top, we're going to go ahead and remove these kind of panel pieces. We're going to move them down to the black axle holes just below it. We're going to move the neck piece over. It's kind of hidden back here. Move it over as much as we can. Then we're going to take this entire construction, we're going to put it on this ball joint right there, just like so. Go ahead and take the hands, take the arms, put the swords right on these pins, and then just kind of take the fingers and put them how you want them to be so that they're holding on to the swords. Then, of course, go ahead and stick these arms up into these ratchet holes right up here. There we go. Then we're going to take these skull spiders. We're going to rotate their legs all the way upside down, just like so. And we're going to take those and stick them into the red axle holes up top. Go ahead and take this kind of smaller spider. I'm going to put it on the abdomen right around there. And you can go ahead and curl those legs in if you want. You kind of have them sticking out if you want more of an outward rib cage appearance, but it's kind of totally up to you. Finally, we'll go ahead and take this over here, this kind of gate. We're going to take this helmet piece off, and we're going to attach it all the way at the top. And then, finally, if you would like, you can take Lady Bone Demon and just stick her all the way at the top, kind of being covered by the helmet. And there you have it, the Bone Demon. Now, this is impressive. However, there's one thing that I really don't like about it. It reminds me heavily of a Destiny 2 villain. I really don't like Destiny 2. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about that. Outside of that, though, it is impressive. The way that all of the builds go together, the way they kind of fit into place and still aesthetically remain consistent, the size, the imposing stature of it all, it's just really, really cool to look at. Additionally, we still have all those glow-in-the-dark pieces to look at, so let's go ahead and try that right now. Really, really cool. It's a little difficult to see right now. I'll go ahead and put up some footage of it looking really, really good, but when you really shine light on this and really let it soak in, it is imposing. It is super impressive to see. It makes it very kind of ethereal, and I really like how that effect is pulled off. It's really, really cool. The placement of these glow-in-the-dark pieces is really well done. Now, it would be a disservice of mine if I didn't mention one major issue I ran into during this. some sharper-eyed viewers may have noticed that all of the stickers seem to be just that bit off, just kind of slightly off-center. And I can assure you it's through no fault of my own. I take great pride in being able to place stickers with some really high-end accuracy, so this certainly wasn't an issue that I ran into because of unsteady hands. Nope, it's way worse than that. The sticker sheet I got in this set was cut improperly. If you take a look, you'll notice that all of the stickers have been cut slightly off, which means that no matter how well I place the stickers on this set, they're always going to be off-center. They're always going to look crooked. This isn't necessarily something I'd mention just kind of in one review, but I've run into this once before, and that was in Ninjago City Gardens. One of the 3 sticker sheets had the exact same issue. That set was $300. This is $120. These are large-scale sets. They're meant to be enjoyed, either by being played with, being interacted with, or by being displayed. And I do take a great deal of issue with a display model like this, or City Gardens, having a sticker sheet that is off-center. It makes it look like I screwed up, and it's immensely frustrating for anyone that genuinely cares about having sticker placement that looks really good. So that did frustrate me. I've run into this with 2 higher-end sets, and I would be immensely disappointed to run into it again. This is something that, since I've run into it multiple times, definitely needs to be taken a look at in the quality assurance team department. Overall, I'm actually quite impressed with this set. I think that it does a really good job of having a consistent motif that it really sticks to. It's large, it's imposing, it's well designed. The construction was a lot of fun to be a part of. I really enjoyed the entire process regarding this. In the dark, it also is super menacing and imposing. If you keep it in a well-lit room or in an area where it's going to soak up a lot of light, when you turn the lights off at night, it's going to light up and look even more impressive. It's just really well done. Balance-wise, it even surprised me. I thought it was going to fall over easily, and it's stable. It's stable so far as I can tell. I would not recommend trying to test that in an earthquake. However, I'm confident that it wouldn't blow over that easily. At least, not by doing anything like that. It's stable, it's really impressive, and the price per part ratio I think is also really good, especially for a Monkie Kid set, of which they aren't known for their great price per part ratios. So I think that if you're into this aesthetic, this motif, this color scheme, and you're really excited for a potential Season 3 from Monkie Kid, I think you'd really enjoy this. I do personally recommend it. So thank you so much for watching this Monkie Kid set review. Hopefully you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on this set and whether or not you intend to pick it up. Join me next time when I look over another of the LEGO Monkie Kid sets. And once again, thank you to LEGO for sending these to us for review. I'll see you all next time. Have a great day.